Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. NBC News reports that Canada is significantly enhancing its Arctic defense collaborations with Nordic countries, spurred by former U.S. President Donald Trump's past threats to seize Greenland and increasing Russian assertiveness in the region. Greenland and Denmark are consulting with Canada to establish their own Rangers units. Mirroring Canada's long-standing Arctic Reserve Force, Prime Minister Mark Carney is spearheading this pivot away from heavy reliance on the U.S., fostering alliances among middle powers as the U.S. is perceived as a less reliable partner. This strengthened cooperation includes military procurement and defense production to counter security threats like cyber attacks. Despite a critical partnership with NORAD, Canada is actively forging new alliances, demonstrated by a new consulate in Nuuk and visits with Nordic leaders who share concerns about Russia's military buildup in the Arctic. Canada recently met NATO's 2% GDP defense spending target after previous U.S. complaints, signaling a serious shift in its Arctic security approach. Global News reports that Cineplex is partnering with TSN to bring select matches from the FIFA World Cup 2026 to movie theaters across Canada. As Canada prepares to co-host the tournament alongside the United States and Mexico, soccer fans will have the opportunity to experience the games on the big screen. Tickets for these screenings went on sale Friday afternoon for $9.99 excluding taxes and online booking fees. The company plans to release tickets in stages, starting with group stage matches, with additional game announcements closer to match days. Participating theaters will also offer popular movie concessions and alcoholic beverages, where permitted by provincial liquor laws. Screenings are scheduled for dozens of locations, including major cities like Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Halifax, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. This marks a unique viewing experience for the first World Cup to feature 48 teams and 104 matches. Global News reports that Canada's Minister of Transport, Stephen McKinnon, announced plans to introduce new federal legislation to address transportation challenges faced by, Saskatchewan squatters. Speaking to the Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce, McKinnon emphasized the need for stronger infrastructure, resilient supply chains, and efficient networks to ensure Canadian products reliably reach global markets. This initiative comes after major potash producer Nutrien announced plans for an export terminal in Washington, a decision McKinnon openly dislikes, preferring Canadian exports to go through Canadian ports. The minister highlighted ongoing concerns about supply chain disruptions and labor instability at critical points like the Port of Vancouver, which handles a large volume of exports. The upcoming legislation aims to amend transportation laws, including the Canadian Labor Code, and introduce supply chain corridors. Additionally, McKinnon announced significant investments, $5 billion over 7 years for the Trade Diversification Corridor Fund and $1 billion for the Arctic Infrastructure Fund, both expected to benefit Saskatchewan. Quebec Premier Christine Fréchette is currently in Paris on an official economic mission, as reported by the Canadian press. Her agenda includes a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday at the Élysée Palace, followed by discussions with her French counterpart, Sébastien Lecornu, and Ministers Christopher Skeet and Mathieu Lacombe at Matignon. A primary objective of the trip is to enhance Quebec's exports to France, with a particular focus on the defense sector and critical minerals. This mission comes as Europe plans substantial investments in rearmament, and Quebec is keen to secure a more significant role in these defense contracts. While former Quebec Premier François Legault had aimed to considerably increase trade with France, exports have seen only a modest rise from 1.6% in 2024 to 1.8% in 2025, highlighting Quebec's continued strong reliance on the U.S. market. Fréchette's mission in the French capital is scheduled to conclude on May 2020. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.